you
We're
mean?
waiting for
MVS
Deontay Johnson,
MVS
man.
signing with the Saints, like that doesn't change what our whole prerogative is. We don't sign anybody who's 30 plus years old.
It's better than Trot and Sky Moore and McCole
Hey,
Hardman
whoa, he
on the field.
almost had a catch, okay?
He
Almost had a
almost had a
catch, dude.
catch.
Come on. And McCole looked like Jerry Rice out there.
But
McCole
on
kills the
jet
Niners, though.
sweeps, like what are we talking about? I'm
McCole was out
like
there just
McCole is not necessarily like a one trick pony, but like he's not a he's I wouldn't
He's
even
not a
put him at
two-trick pony.
I wouldn't even put him at a wide receiver two in a depth chart, man. Like
but he's wide receiver one right now for us. What are we talking about? You think
Above J
MVS is going to
Watts?
come
I'm
in?
saying we
Yeah.
need to sign somebody and make them co wide receiver twos. Like
Well, it's not going to be MVS because he's signing with the Saints, and that makes sense. That what that means is that's very telling to us because Jeremy Fowler also put a tweet out and said the Colts, the Commanders, and other teams were interested in bringing back MVS, but him not naming the Chiefs as one of the teams that were looking at bringing MVS in for at least a workout is very telling because you would a team that he was on, a team that he won back-to-back Super Bowls with, if the Chiefs were actually interested
are you
in
saying
any
we're
sort of
clearly looking
conversations,
elsewhere?
we
Is that what you're
we
getting at?
that tells me that we didn't even have a conversation internally about bringing MVS back.
I think it would have been a smart move. I
We had more conversations about trading
would
for
improve
Demarcus
where we're at.
Robinson than bringing back free agent Marquez Valdez Scantling.
Hey, if we could score D Rob right now, though, I wouldn't even be upset about it. I would be like, the crew is back together. Pat and D Rob about to go off. Like
D Rob, bring me Byron Pringle. Like, I'm okay with that.
Give us Chris Conley, too, while we're at
Chris
Albert
Con-
Wilson, come
might
out
as
of
well.
retirement, please.
it.
I mean, there's still some names out there. Uh, a lot of people have been taught. I shouldn't say people. I should say fans. Fans have been talking about let's go out and get DK. Just signed a big
Not a
extension.
chance.
I don't think there's a real chance that he leaves Seattle
If
unless
there's
it's
a
for
receiver we get
buku
from
bucks.
Seattle, it would be fucking Tyler Lockett of
That
anybody.
that's the only one that could happen. And again doesn't fit the mold. He's over 30 years old. Um, you could go, I think, realistic here. There's two options, and one that's been talked about a lot. Deontay Johnson from the Panthers, 27 years old, so he's underneath that 30-year-old threshold. He's a big body. He's a veteran. Goes out. He's very athletic. I think that's a guy who's a realistic option for this Chiefs team. But there's another guy out there who I think has just become an option. I think it was always a question of potential, but now given the moves that his team has made, I think there's a real possibility to get him, especially now, on a little bit cheaper than he was given the move that happened last week. Garrett Wilson.
There's just no way.
He's on an expiring rookie deal. This is year 4 in the league for him, correct?
Something like that, if he's on an expiring rookie deal.
So if I'll check this just in case, but I'm pretty sure this is year 4, which means that he's only got the player or the team option left. So you can get him on the expiring deal as a rookie deal, and what, a first round will do it. I'll give you the 32nd pick overall. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Garrett
I'd be fine
Wilson,
with giving anything up for him, but honestly, Jets are not going to do that. I
because
mean, they're
he
wasting
would
all
be
their
an
future right
absolute
now.
game changer for the
It's not
Chiefs.
like they're going to
And
utilize him.
I
Well,
he was utilizing Alan Lazard when Garrett Wilson was the de facto number one. So don't tell me there isn't room for him to produce alongside Devontae. But
he's
This is
still
year
got 9
3.
targets.
he's too valuable for New York to just kind of let him go like that. I don't think that's realistic. So I would like to focus on stuff that's realistic. And Deontay Johnson has to be. I don't have to say end all be all here, but like he has got to be the guy that we pursue the hardest because I mean, for wide receivers, he's not like the tallest guy out there. He's not the biggest. He's not the fastest. Oh wow, I almost.
Wow.
He's not the fastest,
Jeez.
but he's a little bit of a jack of all trades, and he can make insane catches. Like he's got tape out there. Like he's great, and he would definitely be the one of the best wide receivers that we've had. Probably the best wide receiver that we've had since Tyreek Hill.
I didn't realize he was so short. I thought he was much taller than he is.
Nah,
He's only 5'10".
yeah.
I thought he was much taller than that. I think he's the
He's pretty
most
quick. He's
realistic.
pretty quick. I think he has nice routes. And he has amazing hands. Um, but he had a crowded wide receiver room in Pittsburgh kind of while he was there until like the last year he was in Pittsburgh, and like there's nobody really in Carolina to throw him the ball. So I mean his stats have been limited, but without a doubt he'd be the best receiver that we've had in our room since Tyreek. So
You could get him for the low. I don't think that it would take very much to realistically get him. I think a second and maybe conditional seventh might get it done.
Really?
What's the? I don't
I
think they're going to
mean,
let him walk away for just a two. And
but Amari went for what, a third and a pick swap,
third.
and
do you
Devontae went
also
for a third with a
He's
conditional to be
younger.
a
He's
second.
younger than Amari, so like who knows what the valuation is going to be. But
you got to think about contract as well. I mean,
I think he
maybe
only
I,
has
I
1 year left on his contract.
right, but also production. What
oh,
is you're going to take his? Yes, he's got this year, and I think he's got next year on the deal. Amari Cooper only had this year, but Amari Cooper has put up productive numbers, even given the offense that he is in. It's not great, but they are productive numbers.
not even
Deontay
knowing the
Johnson,
route scored a touchdown. He's like, "Hey, Rook, what do I
like
got?"
Deontay Johnson hasn't really produced in the offense, regardless of the issues that they have had. This would be the second team that he's going off of in the same short amount of time. I don't think that he would garner what um, Amari Cooper would. I think you could get away with a second plus maybe a seventh conditional or maybe even less. Now, if you want Garrett Wilson, I think that's obviously that would be the better option. I don't think that the Jets would balk
That's
at
not
something
realistic. It's
um,
not possible.
because they also are going to need some draft capital. Uh, it's going to be a first plus, but I wouldn't mind that if I were the Chiefs.
Now, let's talk about something more realistic here. Guys we won't trade for, but guys that are on our practice squad, Nico Remigio and Justin Ross. Are we just not giving these guys an opportunity because they're not good enough, or we just say, hey, screw it, we're a power run team, we don't need receivers?
Free
I
Justin
guess.
Ross.
I mean, we're running 14 personnel the entire time. Free Justin Ross. I'm with it. Nico
I like
Remigio,
seeing Jody getting snaps though. That's our like Jody's gotten
that's our
snaps.
guy.
Jody's
Tight end
out
one. He needs more targets, not just snaps. Let's get him targets, Pat.
there. I
I
mean,
like
we won.
Nico.
We won. So let's count our blessings.
I like Nico. I think a lot of fans like Nico. Uh, Uncle Tube, special coordinator, special teams coordinator Dave Tube loves Nico as the return man. I think that's where he'd get most of his utilization. And maybe that call up happens because as McCole Hardman hits wide receiver number one, unless a change is made very, very soon, we're going to need to pull him off of punt and kick return and we're gonna have to put somebody else there. So I could see Nico getting elevated before Justin Ross, but I would like to see Justin Ross hit the field. I think him and Pat have some chemistry that's just, I guess he's just not a good practice guy from everything that I hear.
That's saying
Really?
something for him. Like, he has all the talent in the world, and if he's not going to try hard, I can understand why they're keeping him down on the practice squad. But your quarterback's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Why are you not trying hard?
If I'll never understand that from athlete on any level. If you're out there, if you're trying, like go out there and try. Don't just don't just sit around and think that you're a Sunday player unless you're Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelsey. You're not a Sunday player until you've made that leap. And no, not very many people make that leap. Go out there and earn your job. Just like you said, Sean, he's got so much talent. We've seen it. We saw it out of Clemson. We saw it in OTAs. We've seen it in every practice every so often. The talent is clearly there. It's just I don't think it's I think it's in between the ears.
He could have had it all, man. He could have had it all. My excitement's still where it is always at, just right around the nips. It's teetering, tottering back and forth, but if they pull him up, it's going over the head.
Just a tip.
What do you got to lose, buddy? What do you got to lose? Put him out there.